Welcome. In this video, we will discuss how we can use data validation to restrict or limit the data we put in an Excel sheet. Our first example, we will limit the data we can put in cell I2. So we will say cell I2 must be greater than 5. So because we said it has to be greater than 5, if we put a 2, it will give us an error message. Now if we put 6, it will not because it's greater than 5. Now if we put 5, it will still give us an error message because it has to be greater than 5. Now what we can also do is we can also add a specific message for the user. So if they were to go and input a 2, we would say value must be greater than 5. So the next time we try to put a 2, here's our error message, value must be greater than 5. Now the way data validation works is if you add that validation, it does not apply to values that are already in a cell. For example, if we were to change this data validation to where it is greater than 6 and we hit OK, that error message will not show because, as I mentioned, it does not apply to data that already exists. Now if you were to again type 6, now we get the error message because it has to be greater than 6. Now we can also use data validation for date fields. So if we want to limit the date range for a date field, we can do that. So if we are saying the date that we are entering in the date field must be greater than today's date, we could do that. Now there are date options here, but because we will not be using a specific date, our best option is to use the custom option. So what we will say J, cell J2 has to be less than today. So I added the formula for today's date. So in the event that we have to come back tomorrow and reference the current date, it will look at the formula for the current date versus having that set date, which will throw the data validation off. So we are saying cell J2 must be less than today's date. So today's date so this is today's date. So because it has to be less than 3/11. So if we say the date is 3/12, you will get an error. So you can use data validation for a lot of different things. You can use it to limit the cell entry to whole numbers. You can limit it to decimals. If you were to use the date range, you can add a date range to it. So there are a lot of different options that you can use, and there are a lot of different ways that you can use data validation. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. We appreciate your support. Link to our Cash App is down below.